Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon. This is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of guests today. Another group of fantastic independent comic book creators. Please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video. And without further ado, let's bring on our co-host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Indy Comics Explained with our main host, Mr. JD Calderon. You know it's a holiday weekend when I'm here. This is Mark Torres from the Camp from the official show of the Big Apple Con. Let's see who else we have on the panel today, JD.
All righty. Hello, Christie.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Introduce yourself, please.
Okay, I'm the creator of Demon Bitch. She's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell, where they show their dog shit and gum wrappers. And I just finished my Kickstarter. Well, it was a while ago on the 6th, I believe. Yes. So during that time, I got sick with a cold, but every week I had a convention or something to do. And right now, I'm in the midst of fulfilling it.
Nice. Cool. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Sam Quinton. I own Snowper Publishing here in Frankfort, Kentucky. I produce 47 Furious Tales, Reign of Ages. We're about to release our first issue of Necroholic, a couple other projects in the works, and also role-playing games. We successfully funded 47 Furious Tales issue 3 a couple months ago. We're going to be shipping that to backers when our print copies arrive from the printer this coming week. And we are currently live on Indiegogo with our IGG exclusive cover of Reign of Ages issue 1 by the very talented Nick Capone.
Nice. How you doing, Mickey?
Hi, my name is Mickey Martinez. I'm the co-creator of Quetzalcoatl, a modern Latinx graphic novel about heritage, family, and a big effing feathered snake.
Nice. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jason Dube here. Thank you for having me on the show, JD. Artist, writer, publisher, a little bit of jack of all the trades, and stressaholic. And right now we've got a comic book on Kickstarter, Shadowhunters Bite Me, and I think that's pretty much all I've got to say at this point.
All right, cool. And let's bring in Sam. What's up, Sam?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Sam Jimenez. I am the other co-writer of Quetzalcoatl. What's up, Mickey? And yeah, our Kickstarter for the first volume of Quetzalcoatl is live right now.
Awesome. Nice. I like it. So you know what? Hold on. Let's pull up. Jason says,
Oh, hey, that's me.
That's Jason. He's right here.
Hi.
Like I always say, you don't have to thank me. You're always welcome. I love you guys.
That's a good
Right.
dude.
Hey, we have Larry here.
Hey, Larry.
What's up?
Yep. It's cool because Larry's here. I have a question that involves him a little. Amy Sandra Martinez says, "Yay." Quetzalcoatl.
Nice.
So I guess that's somebody you guys know. All right. So let's start it. So here's my first question. So I was watching actually Niobe last night, Larry's stream, and I saw it was very, very interesting. He had a complaint over a bad package being delivered to one of his co-hosts or one of his hosts or one of his guests, and they went over basic packaging. It's something I've done videos on it. I think everybody's done a video on it once in a while. Christy, you're in the middle of shipping. Jason, I know you've done a bunch of them. Mickey and Sam, I know you guys. Is this your first campaign?
It's like our second actual campaign.
So you've done some packaging. And Sam, I know you've been through a bunch of them. So
17, yeah. So we're
there you go.
we're working ahead.
So my question is this: I'm going to ask each person to give one best practice when it comes down to packaging, shipping out of books. It could be anything. So we'll start from the bottom, work our way up. Sam, what do you got, sir?
Oh, geez. Let's see. So like we didn't actually do, Mickey, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't actually do like a lot of like our physical packaging when we did the first issue, did we?
Well, we to like package stuff and send it out. Yeah, we did that packaging.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
yeah, we did bags and boards. So I know some people who don't send their comics in bags and boards and use like cardboard, like the way you get stuff. I guess if you get it on Etsy or something.
Yeah, I've gotten.
But
a lot of stuff
I've always put bags and boards in.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good one. That's a basic one. So that's a good one. So was it that Mickey, you bagged and boarded, and Sam was at the movies?
He was supervising.
That's what it sounds
So
like.
we live in different states, and so like what was cheaper to print, and then like there are local printers in LA that are much cheaper to print than like printers like in Texas where Sam is.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I printed everything and I got everything together.
Oh, that's cool, dude. That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move over to Jason. Jason, what's best practice for shipping?
So yeah, it's bag and board, of course, and then use the Gemini folders. Noel Serrato, who's my partner in a lot of the newer campaigns now, he does all the packaging on his end as part of his. But what he does too is he likes to get the paddings that you can buy with the Gemini mailers. So he puts the paddings in there, and then I think he puts it in a padded envelope, and he does a whole thing. And to me, it's a little bit overkill, but I hear so many great comments about when they got their books that they're in great shape that now I'm like, you must be onto something. So I better start learning from him. So yeah, we go overboard with the packaging to make sure the books get there in beautiful shape.
All right, cool. Let's slide on over to Mickey. I guess Mickey and Sam was one answer, so I'm going to slide on over to Sam.
So for comics, they're all, of course, bagged and boarded individually. We take in any added art prints. We make sure that we pack those on the back side of those books so that they're not putting creases in the books themselves when they ship. We take and wrap the comics in bubble wrap, pack them in the Gemini mailer. If its total weight is going to exceed the standard first class, then what we do is we also then take and put that Gemini mailer in a legal flat rate envelope, so that we have a better postage rate, certainly, but also those packages are handled a little differently inside the postal system, so it just helps to get things there in good shape. Oh, and other thing too, never ever ship your pens in your Gemini mailer without wrapping those in bubble wrap too. They will crease the hell out of your books.
Oh yeah.
All right, Christy, you're up. What's a good practice?
For me, at bag and board, I mean, these are defective. That's a whole other story we could probably answer. But I would bag and board the standard basic graphic novel because mine are actually kind of beefy. Like, actually, Nita ordered a book for mine, not in Kickstarter, and they literally, even though I put down, like, it was a bag and board, and I put down do not fold, they folded it in half and crammed it in her box. She was so pissed. So what she did, she actually bent it back. She said, it's actually good as new. So the material's pretty good. So I do bag and board. Gemini I've done. Gemini I look at, it's not bad. But I think if your book is kind of thinner or if it's not as beefy, and I found the Amazon ones to be pretty beefy and they fit in a bag and board, I just do that so the covers don't get screwed up. Now, I send a media mail. And then people go like, oh, media mail. But media mail doesn't really take that much longer. It's actually like a day or two, if that. But a lot of times it's like the same day. I mean, not same day, but day or two, right? In the domestic United States. And it's interesting because you can sometimes put like prints if they fit in the book in there so that it's kind of doubly protected as well.
All right. Cool.
But the pens, I would say, yeah, bubble wrap it.
Mark, you have anything?
I have yet to do it. I'm getting to that point, but from what I've received, I've always seen bag and board as like the bare minimum, and then I always see extra bubble wrap on all the packages I get. So I'm like, all right, I guess bubble wrap is the way to go.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done big posters that you need to roll up, and how have you found that it's the easiest way to ship those?
I mean, for those, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the only thing that I've ever seen that will protect them is a firm tube, and that's it. That's why I never offer them. They're expensive.
For 18 by 24s, I pick up the ones that the U.S. Postal Service actually sells, the reinforced cardboard square ones.
Yeah.
I've never had one fail on that. Now, the weird thing is a lot of the biggest amount of posters I ship are actually to retailers, and so that involves a little bit of a different process because can't just roll up 40 posters and send them there. It just doesn't work. So that ends up in a flat shipping box and packed like you would anything else. But for individual buyers, 1, 2, whatever, yeah, I find those work really, really well.
Mhm. Now, for the ones for the retailers, I mean, obviously, you are you doing the corner protector thing and the whole nine with that stuff?
Yeah, because I mean, if my retailers get something damaged, I replace it.
Yeah.
Just flat out. And so whether it's going to Florida at the Collective or Texas to the Hive or 4 different states to Third Eye Comics or what have you, when they get it, it has to be right. So spending an extra few dollars on packaging and stuff serves me really well.
Yeah, I agree 110%. Like I said, everybody here is right. So everybody's giving good advice. So that's it, folks. If you want to ship your books, this is what you do. Good cardboard boxes. If you could put in an extra piece of cardboard in the front and the back of the books, even if they're going inside a Gemini mailer, I would suggest it. Because that's just, it's not even going to cost you anything extra to put it, as far as weight. The only other thing that I'm doing for this campaign is I don't use Geminis, but I use a Uline product.
Right.
That's similar. It folds up, but I'm putting it inside of like a printed Tyvek bag. So it's going to go inside that bag, and then has like an image of my character and stuff. And that'll go like that, and that's just an extra layer of protection for it. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, particularly with regard to moisture concerns. I'm seeing more and more people using those poly bags over the top of their Geminis lately.
Yeah.
And they look nice.
Yeah, and you can get them custom printed and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I use a Sticker Mule, and sometimes they'll have a sale for like $20 or $30. You get 50 of them. Yeah. So it's actually a pretty good sale. So whenever I see one, I just snatch another 50. I throw them on the shelf for the next campaign.
Yeah, I take advantage of like their T-shirt sales and stuff too, because we can always throw a little extra T-shirts and stickers and all that kind of stuff. Anytime they have a sale that lets me get any type of volume, we can go ahead and throw some extras in for the shops, or maybe even a couple on the some of the higher end Kickstarter tiers, just to do a little bonus while we're packing stuff up.
Yeah, they just did 50 stickers for $9, shipping included. So that's the sort of thing. I just throw them into the packages as an extra thing. So that's always a little bit of extra fun for the fans.
Definitely.
Sometimes
go on. No, go ahead, Christie.
Well, I was just thinking, like, if you're doing prints, also rigid mailers work 100% too. I've done those big bag and board them too, or bag them. Yeah.
No,
and you can get 11 by 17 bags and boards. I have those for shipments, and they work like a charm. I actually took and got. Bear with me. I was working on packaging something earlier, so this actually works out pretty well. I actually had Pack Lane manufacture the custom Sinopa mailers for 11 by 17s for like our high-end Kickstarter rewards, where we've got original art, 11 by 17 stuff, and things like that. And so we've tested this out. I've shipped it across the country to some of our artists and had other original arts shipped back in it. This one's been back and forth across the country twice now. Right as rain.
All right, cool. So let me put this up. Larry asked, so what question? Well, we just answered it, Larry. Thank you for providing it.
So with the original art 11 by 17s that we have, we usually put them in these like plastic sleeves. And then we'll also go with a packaging like you were just saying too.
Yeah, I've used those a lot. It's just they've been a little hard to come by lately. So I picked up some really high quality bag and board versions of them, and the cost comparison is about equivocal. Like if I take and get one bag and board and then it's basically the same price as one of the sleeves, and I can just actually pack that inside the USPS board game box mailer if I'm shipping domestically. It's $13 anywhere in the country.
Where do you get the boxes that you were just showing?
I ordered them from Pack Lane.
Packland?
Pack Lane. Yeah.
Pack Lane. Yeah, I'm really like.
And these, they're solid, man.
Nice. There you go. William Payne says top loaders are the best.
Yeah, the top loaders are great. It's just, like I said, they're hard to come by right now. Like you might find 20 or so on Amazon, but like my normal suppliers, I'm waiting like 6 weeks right now to get some. I just didn't have that kind of room to wait with Kickstarter.
Yeah, I got desperate and went on eBay. But
oh, God bless you.
But yeah, it was desperate. It was desperation. I was like, I can't wait another 2 months for those things.
I know you're paying convention prices on eBay right now. You know, it's like, hey, it's $10 for a top loader. No,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Oh. All right. All right, Mark, you're up. I didn't want to cast any shade. Our co-host was supposed to be, his name is JD Rosario. But he's not here. So, I just want to let him know, he's missed.
We miss you.
No, he was on a flight, so I think he's probably just running late. I doubt if he'll make it because I'm pretty sure wherever he was coming from Florida. So hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully he's fine, and the wife is fine, and everything's good. So we missed you, Jay, some bitch. Anyway, Mark, you're up, sir.
All righty. So let me see how I can phrase this. Let me give some backstory. So I know most of us can't do it all ourselves, and we are involved with other people in creating our projects. Mm-hmm. Is there a limit, or can you be able to work with someone who either you do not trust 100% or has come right out and say that they do not trust you 100%?
Probably work with the other personally. For me, it's like I actually ship everything myself, and people kind of go like, wow, that's really hard. I said, not really. I mean, like I have a background in shipping and logistics, but the thing is that on top of it, it's like, let's say you get the prints first and that's the full order, right? You just send those out. So whatever you get first and it's a full order, you just send out. So you don't have this huge backlog in there.
Well, I'm not saying about shipping. I'm saying about just creation in total, working with somebody else.
I've never really run into that. I mean, for the most part, people work with me and they trust me, so it's good.
I had a couple of people who were hesitant to work with me at first because I came out of nowhere. I didn't have any social media presence. No one knew who I was. And one day I showed up on Kickstarter funding RPG books. And I had connections that put me in touch with other artists, particularly out of the Kubert School. And so I just worked to earn that trust, But if there's someone who I find that they're not trustworthy, particularly if I've had one artist and only one artist, whoever broke a contract to an actionable level, I should say. And by that, for those of you who don't work in the courts like I do in the day, that means there's full potential for litigation there. But I just don't work with them anymore. That's the easy way for me. But if after working with me for a few times someone doesn't trust me by then I'm doing something wrong and need to evaluate what's going on.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move with Mickey.
I had just a quick story. There was a old coworker who really wanted to work with me, and he was consistently pitching me stuff and ideas to do a Kickstarter after we had done our first Kickstarter. We had done one for the first issue, so we raised money for the first issue, and we had the first issue ready and everything. So after that, he really wanted to do one with me. And the thing was, he was a good guy. I didn't think he could get any. I didn't think he could get anything done with me, because he was consistently sort of like not understanding the business behind it, and so he was really wanting to just dump it all on me, or dump it all on oh no, I can draw stuff. It's cool to have an artist and just commission an artist, or just have an artist, but he wanted the title co-creator, and he didn't really want to co-create. I think he just wanted to have a comic with his name on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he would say that he was a business partner. He would say he was a co-creator, but he didn't want to do anything. And so I would try to plan stuff with him, and it was going south. I don't know, but what I'd say is follow your gut a little bit. It's you don't need any kind of check marks to be oh, if a person fits all these check marks, I'll work with this person. Just kind of follow your gut, and if you feel like this is a bad relationship, then don't get into it.
Right.
I agree. Jason, what do you got?
So, I've been doing self-published comic books for almost 30 years now. So I did, for the majority of that time, I've always done everything myself. just through the whole process. It's only been the last maybe 10 years that I've actually started doing more like a partnership. I first started when I moved out here to Sacramento. I started up a group called the Sacramento Comic Book Creators Group, and that was just to meet other like-minded comic book people. I didn't know anybody in the area, and it was a good way to kind of reach out and meet other comic book people. So I did that for a couple of years, and then the people that I met through that, I got to know them. Some of them were real serious about doing comic books. So then I would start working with those people, producing other books with them. And just recently, Noel Serrato, who's my partner in crime in almost all my books now, we've known each other for a long time, really trust each other, almost like brothers at this point. And he does half of the artwork, I'll do the other half of the artwork, and everything's just kind of split right down the middle. And we bicker and fight about little things because he's got different styles and ideas, and so do I. But I think like recently we were like, you know what? We like those fights because it kind of opens our eyes to that other side. I'll look at his stuff and go, no, you know what? Okay. It doesn't have to be super polished and cleaned up. You like the sketchy, more loose stuff. Okay, let's go with that. And he'll kind of do the same with me now. So that's where we're at. It's a really good partnership. And like I said, I'll do a lot of the setup for the campaigns, and he does all the shipping stuff. So that works out great too. So we're splitting down the work as well as the profit. So it's just worked out that way for me.
That's good. Sam, what do you got? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I think it's kind of like right off the bat, maybe there's sometimes like a good gauge where you can tell if this is somebody that you want to work with or will be able to work with. Mickey and I have done like different projects together, and then each of us have done something separately, and it's like Mickey and I have a great rapport. We've been working together for maybe about 12 years now. And so, yeah, it's kind of odd to say, but it's like, I kind of use that as like a basis of like, how well can I interact with this other person to where it's like, okay, like this is, we can establish trust like this, or like, oh yeah, you're going to be more of like this side of the project, and I'll work on this side. And then it's just kind of like that's sort of my metric. And then, yeah, if I just have like a weird, like gut feeling about a person, maybe not like confront them directly about it, but just kind of like keep that in mind. Like, okay, maybe it'll be a little bit more difficult to work with a person. And then I'll think like, okay, is that something that I want to put the effort into,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. Hold on, let me put up a couple of these from Larry. He says, Naomi has spent 8 years earning a rep, being on time, paying talent, earning our spot as someone people want to work with. And Naomi is now the point where we pick and choose who we want to work with. That's a good spot to be at. I know for myself, the way I usually establish a relationship, I'll contact an artist, I'll ask them if they can draw my character, I have them draw the character, I pay them on time. Then if I like what they did, I ask them to do a cover, and then I'll see how the cover comes out. I'll pay them on time, and then maybe we'll do a short story, and then maybe I'll commission a longer story after that, depending on how everything works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the best way. That's what works for me. I can't say it's going to work for everybody else, but definitely jumping in cold, that's rough. I would definitely say, commission a couple smaller pieces, see how they work out, see how they communicate with you, right? Do they take, do you send them an email and it takes 4 days or a week for them to get back to you? Are response really fast? That's the sort of thing you got to really watch out for, because when they make themselves unavailable, it's just like, well, how can I do business with you, right? Mr. Torres, answer your own question, sir.
I'm not sure yet. I have to debate to see what level of trust I can have to work with somebody. I have worked with people in the past who have not come through, and I still work with them because they're good people, and sometimes you just don't have a choice.
That's not true. You always have a choice.
Well, the choice is to not do anything at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess if that's the choice, sure. Fair enough.
I like what Sam said. That Sam. I like what Sam said, where he's like, sometimes you have to reevaluate yourself
Yeah, right.
and see if it's you. For our artist that we had on Quetzalcoatl, she's great. We found her just looking at different artists on Instagram, essentially, and then we commissioned her for a cover. Yeah, we tested out to see how we work together. But after the pandemic, she was like in like a really tough spot financially, and we gave her the other half of the comic before she had finished, because we trusted her enough. And it was just, but it was also kind of a shot in the dark. Like, you never really know. But yeah, she finished it, and now she has this deep-seated trust in us. That because we helped her out there, so you kind of have to earn that trust yourself,
Right.
as well. So yeah, just something to think about.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes I've worked with a bunch of different artists, and I remember just recently I had one artist. I usually pay half up front and half on the back end, right? So they deliver, they show me just a JPEG, and it's okay, it's done. Boom, here's the other half, and then I pay the next half. So I usually do the pages of 5 or 10, depending on who I'm working with, right? So that way, everybody gets money. And then he had asked me to actually send full payment on approval of the thumbnails, which I wasn't accustomed to doing, and I was like, screw it. Here, as a good faith effort, and I've done it at least 10 times now, and it's worked out fine. So it's like, okay, he feels more comfortable. I'm like, whatever, So it's like sometimes, it's like Jason said, you have to sometimes sit back, reevaluate, and say, okay, maybe he's not feeling too comfortable, but let me put a little bit more effort into it, and and it's fine. So it's always a good thing. Sometimes you gotta just look inside.
Let me throw out a story there for you, JD. We have a mutual artist friend, and we're talking 20 years ago. Commissioned him for a cover. Well, a piece to test them out.
Okay.
Delivered it. I got the email, I got the image, but I needed to get the original, and it took forever to get any type of reply. So much so that I had to go to his house to get the piece of artwork.
Okay, we will discuss this mutual friend later, because
Yeah.
I think there's at least 3 people that it could be, maybe 5. So we'll find out.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So they're like, oh, well, I guess I can't work with him, but I need to work with him, but I can't work with him. That kind of level of trust is what I mean.
Getting back for a moment to Mickey's example about some of the hardships a lot of artists faced during the pandemic. One of the things that I came up with that we did last year, and we're going to do again this year, we did a collaboration project, and basically we kickstarted that, put the book out, did the biggest production run that we could on it. Sanopa covered like the trademark costs, copyright fees, everything like that. Got the Kickstarter fulfilled, and then we distributed everything that we produced after that, the entire press run, equally between all of the contributors. And so the idea was to put as much money as we could, much value as we could in everyone's hands. And so that actually apparently worked pretty well, because most of the team is wanting to go ahead and do another press run now. And we've got another project scheduled for this year. We're still assembling the team on that. I think almost everyone's coming back. Alexia Veldhuizen won't be able to because her calendar is pretty full. But I think other than that, pretty much, I think everyone else is on there. We have a few other people coming in. So that kind of thing, it made a significant difference as cons started opening back up, and people, had stacks of books that they could sell at their tables and everything. And that goes a long way, when it's $2 to print and $19 to sell at the table because you're doing it in bulk. That's a nice conversion. So
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. Hold on, let me throw a couple of these in.
And just to be clear, we also made sure that we hardwired in our digital store on drive-through all that art. Everyone has an equal division of the royalties on that from every sale, and that's locked
cool.
in. It can't be changed. So anyone who picks up Dungeons and Dames from 2021 on there, you're supporting the entire art team.
Nice. Well, that's really cool. Amy says that's good advice. Larry says, look, Jason is guy on my list. I've seen his Naomi many times. Plus, he has the best name in comics. There you go.
Thanks, Larry. Love you, brother.
All right. So Here's one. Here's one that I've seen around, and I find this question kind of weird, right? It's something we're all trying to do, but the question is, do we really do it? And what is it that you're doing as a creator, right? Or even either as a creator or promoter that you're doing to make yourself stand out in this business, right? Separate from your fellow creators. Not an easy thing to do. There's like 10 million of us. So, Jason, we'll start with you.
Oh no. What do I do to try and stand out a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Well, luckily enough, I mean, I heard a lot of people say that my art style kind of stands out, but pretty much what my mission is just go on every social media and just plug, get in everyone's face, probably bother them a little bit too much, but just try and remind people I'm here, check out my book, please.
Mm-hmm. Right. Fair enough. Mickey, what do you got?
Well, I come from a screenwriting background, which I think is a little worse in like the way of like you need to get people's attention, because in comics you can make money by getting anyone's attention, but screenwriting is very specific. You need specific people's attention, and they're not looking at you. But I think like from there I learned of like, oh, just be yourself and tell your stories that only like you have like a perspective on. Mm-hmm. So I think Sam and I both have a really, really interesting perspective that we both share and that we both just fully inject into the book, and the book is just full of like our lives and our like the way we see things, and I think that's really interesting and different. And I know from people who've read the first issue that they're like, oh, I've never really seen something like this. That's just that just goes full like weird emotion serpent thing. So I think it's just having your own perspective for us, I guess. The art is also really different and neat, but yeah.
All right, cool. Mr. Quinton.
I don't think I do try to stand out too much, really. I do things a little differently. We kickstart to create the projects. We try to pay our artists the best possible rate we can. And so our Kickstarters are usually just to cover, printing costs and shipping costs for fulfillment. And then we print usually on comics like 1,500 to sometimes as many as 3,000 copies, and work a lot outside of Kickstarter to get books on shelves in stores. And so that's very difficult for a lot of reasons. But we've been hard at it. We've got 35 store locations right now that are carrying Sonopa books for comic shops, plus 8 other locations in Oregon through comics mainstream distribution with Adam Watson. So you've got, with that, things like marijuana dispensaries are carrying 47 in Reign of Ages. And then adding other titles, because I can't draw anything. And, I never really have been able to. And the gag is that I can't draw because I got stabbed in the hand, but I couldn't draw before I got stabbed in the hand, so that's not really very applicable. Other than that, I just try to I duck and evade and just stay out of drama and just focus on making books. And people ask questions, if I have an answer that I know is factual or in high confidence is factual, I give it to them. And if I don't, I point people towards resources where they might be able to find it. And just try to run the cleanest, ethical business I can to leave to my kids.
Nice.
All right, you can't just throw that out there and then just walk away with it. Are you comfortable telling us the story about how you got stabbed in your hand?
Yeah,
I've actually been stabbed 7 different times. But my previous profession was with paramilitary organizations, so not too surprising. I've had some pain. We just put it that way. My 90s were very different from most of your 90s. Let's just put it that way.
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure it was fun for you at some points, but I'm pretty sure that some points in those 90s you can keep that.
Yeah. I mean, I got to work security one night when I was here in the United States. I got to work security one night on a Nirvana concert. That was pretty cool. So
okay, that's cool.
That's pretty nice. I happened to be stateside, and a buddy of mine like, hey, we need some people. I'm like, yeah, where do I need to be? Like, can you be in Philly? I'm like, I can be in Philly, yeah. I said, take me a day and a half. I said, can you be here tomorrow morning? I'm like, yeah, give me a minute. So grabbed my light bag and went to the airport.
Nice. But
That sounds like the beginning of Taken.
I haven't actually seen that movie. I know it's a movie, but I haven't seen it. Something about kidnapping kids or something?
Something like that.
His daughter. It's more of a like sex trafficking kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he has to rescue his daughter from shit like that.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Christy, what are you doing to make yourself stand up?
I guess my personality. Everybody that has me on, it's like they really like that the fact I can go on. Also, at conventions, I'll actually say, "Hey, I write books that are angry and mean and make people laugh," and people like that. I generally tend when I sell my books, I just think of like I do it. If I'm going to do this a million times, say this shit a million times, I might as well just have fun with it. And if it's funny like millions of times in a row, people are going to read up on that. And what I found pretty good is that I can go ahead and, give like a quick thing like, oh, Alcoholics and Anonymous. This is like Water for Chocolate, except it sucks, because it has alcoholic recipe in it. But it's not Demon Bitch. Like I have a separate one of Demon Bitch. She's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell, where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid. I did that, but it's like a quick little blurb for each of the aspects of the work and each of the books. And that's what I would recommend with anybody that is at a con. You kind of come out something with entertaining. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be what I said, but about your books, just do 30 seconds. And I guess the thing is I engage with people and then I'll make jokes like, oh, I'll go and deface your book. Like that's what I said in the Kickstarter right now. Although Amazon's doing a bang up job with books at this moment. Oh my God. But that's a whole other story for another day. But other than that, it's just, people like the fact that I'm open and I can talk and I am actually entertaining, but I actually apparently have very smart things to say to them.
Yep, this is true. All right, nice. Sam, what do you got?
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. So this is our second Kickstarter for Quetzalcoatl, and we're doing it. We did the first one for issue 1 to get that funded, and then we now are doing it for the whole first 5 issues, the first volume. And yeah, I guess it's just we're kind of in that phase of establishing a presence and just trying to get ourselves out there. And so it's okay, I'm just gonna go follow other people who like comics. Okay, let's go follow this blog, or let's follow this Facebook group, or I'm on Twitter a lot. I think I'm on Twitter more than Mickey, and I'm like everybody who's like, oh, you're talking comics, let's talk about comics. What's going on there. And yeah, just I don't know, just trying to get us out there, and say that hey, this is who we are and we're doing our thing. And yeah, just being unapologetically who we are, and just telling people about our books. This is a culmination of our life experiences, but we're also trying to write a superhero comic book too. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now.
All right, cool. Hold on, let me put some of these up. So Amy says, just noticed Mickey and Sam are wearing the same shirt. Was that on purpose?
No, I made this shirt. I digitally kind of recreated. So I combined some old posters from the Mexican Dracula movie to recreate the poster because I couldn't find it, and I sell shirts on Etsy, and Sam bought one.
Nice.
and then we just happened to wear the same shirt today.
That's cool. That's funny. I just have Junji Ito right here, the cat, with one of his cats.
Hey.
It's funny because Junji Ito is actually a pretty normal guy, but he did this thing of his cats, and of course it's all existential and horror. So even though it's not really a horror story, but how he draws the cats,
Nice. And Larry says, oh, well, for me, I made a flashy looking character that has attributes many people like to inspired for my love of comics and late 80s anime. Cool.
Mhm.
He says you're all in sync.
Right.
There you go. For myself, I don't know. I just try to write the best books I can. I was just curious what everybody else would say. That's all I do. I just try to do the best books I could possibly create, and just love them and just put them out there. That's what I do. And well, I answered the question for my co-host, Mr. Co-host. What are you doing?
I actually do a couple of what everybody else is saying. So for the show, we try to be consistent. I think that's an important thing. So every Monday we put out a new show. Every Tuesday we hit the social media and spread it out. Every Wednesday we actually record the show. So that's kind of what we do in that. But at conventions, I'll go with what Christie says, and just try to be yourself and have a personality. So our pitch, beyond the little thing of free candy we usually have, which draws them in, we always go. Usually it's two of us. So I usually say, "Hey, do you like comics?" And the other person will say, "And stuff." So that way they can't say no because we've had people, "You like comics?" "I don't like comics." "What the hell are you doing at a comic book convention?" "And stuff." "Well, you don't like stuff either." So usually that will break the ice and get the interaction going.
Nice.
And then they go, "Ooh, candy."
Well,
Yeah, we've had it. We've had a couple people that just go, "Ooh, candy," and just come right over. And that's the only time that the candy bowl didn't work was when we were at Wizard Philly Convention. Was the only time we did a Wizard Philly Con, and the aisles were so far away. But the weird thing about it was that the people came over despite not being attracted by the candy. They're like, "Ooh, what's going on over there?" I was like, "These are the nicest people." Being a New Yorker, so it's just so weird the difference in the crowd we had.
Kind of reminds me. One time I've run into a couple of this. Was weird. I've said like to somebody like, "Hey, would you like to read a book that's angry and mean and makes people laugh?" And he said, "Oh, I just don't read." I'm like, "You're not a comic?"
Ooh.
Yeah, it was kind of like
that's
he
painful.
was trying to be witty, but really sounded stupid
Right.
or whatever. But he says like, "Oh, I don't read." I'm like, "Okay, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
But, one of the things I've been doing at conventions, the handful that I've been as a vendor, is I bring a lot of extra bottled water. And the reason I do that is for the cosplayers. Because you see them walk around because summertime, it's hot, it's nasty, and if I see some of the cosplayers obviously feeling the heat, then I hand out bottles of water for them, keep them hydrated, keep them safe, and that was kind of like the idea behind it. And then I realized on the second con when I was doing that having like 5 or 6 cosplayers all huddled around the booth brought other people over to find out what was going on. And so that's kind of just become a staple now. I bring a couple of cases of water with me and just try to look after the cosplay community a little bit. I myself am not a cosplayer, but I think it's a really cool creative outlet. So certainly don't want anyone collapsing for the heat or anything. But it's an interesting side effect how that came about.
Oh, nice, cool. Mr. Torres, you're up, sir.
All righty, let's see. What is the biggest risk you have ever taken in relation to your product that has paid off and that has not paid off?
Nikki, you're up.
I guess has not paid off is printing T-shirts for the first issue run because I ended up losing money.
Ooh.
The T-shirts just ended up being way too expensive. It wasn't a good idea, or at least I didn't process. Oh no, that's what happened. The original printer went out of business because of COVID, and I had to get a new estimate. And I had he was giving me like a deal, and then anyways, I'd end up losing money. But still, I probably for this new one we didn't do T-shirts. And I guess the biggest risk that has paid off, I think it's being so open with where because I remember people giving me tips on the Kickstarter, and one of them was like, don't be so open about the culture that inspired it. But I didn't like that, and I didn't really take that. So the Kickstarter is very open with the culture and the myths, because that's basically the engine of the comic, or at least is going to be moving forward, is taking myths and redoing them for modern, like making them modern. And so we were really open about that. and that seems to have paid off. We're doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah. We're gonna go over that in a minute. Yeah, it's looking good. Miss Sam, Quinton.
The biggest risk I took that paid off. I made the decision not to reprint comic book covers, and that has done surprisingly well for me. But the biggest, I think, is when I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and just start doing the bigger press runs, because that really facilitated the ability to sell to retailers and actually do so at a small profit margin. Because running 3,000 to 5,000 copies has some risks. 1,500 is a little easier, but when you start getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, then you kind of have to. You really have to know where that initial capital is coming back from to make that money back pretty swiftly. So, yeah, it's I think it's the best. The worst thing that I did, the worst risk I took that didn't pay off. I launched a Kickstarter campaign on this promo that Kickstarter did, where they were trying to get people to do a Kickstarter that used Kickstarter in a different way, like use elements of Kickstarter to try and do something different with your campaign. And so I did that for the campaign we titled The Broken Role-Playing Game, and basically the tiers were just structured the same value, and people just voted on what the RPG was going to be, and whatever the top vote received once we reached goal was going to be the one we developed. And we did not make goal. So it was a wasted effort. But it was an interesting concept. We just couldn't bring it to fruition.
Gotcha. Interesting. Christie, what do you got?
I would say the challenge is this recent Kickstarter. It was like the flow was kind of like stuttered a bit. I mean, it started off real strong and then it finished strong, but in between, like sometimes some things would happen and I'm like, oh, like I could be kicked like 5% ahead of time and then get knocked back 2 or 3. Like it was bitch like for a while, and that was just even challenging me and my good temper on that. Another one for the Kickstarter, it's just right now. I had been talking to you guys like in before the show. Like I've had to go and kind of troubleshoot some stuff with KDP, because KDP, like when they're good, but then when they'll get in these phases where they're just fucking stupid all around. Like, what is all this shit? Like I ordered a bunch of books because some people ordered and it was also for stock from my store, like all the books for, Demon Bitch, right? So I would fulfill them and send them out before I did Triggered. I wanted to wait until Triggered was, this was completed before I did that. And they were late, like the box busted open, and I had to say, okay, you're going to need to resend that to me. And they're like, oh, you have to return and redo it again. It's like, I never heard that. And it was just a pain in the ass. And then, so I actually ordered more books second time around. I told them you need to go and forward me expedited shipping. And they did, but they kept being late. And I understand like there's product issues or whatever. I mean, I get it, but it was getting to a point where it was like, God, half of you people are acting stupid. And I don't try to be a jerk off when it comes to stuff like that, but it's just like, come on, I have to repeat this like 3 times to different people. And so all the books printed well, but KDP screwed this up, and I'll have to reorder it. I got to fight with them, but they did it where they cut off the top.
Oh, yeah.
See that one? So I can't really sell them. So I basically let them know, and they said, oh, well, your file's that way. It's like, are you kidding me? Because I've been printing this book for the last few years. It's always come out fine. But they're like, oh, well, this file's all jacked up. I said, okay, I'm going to the Better Business Bureau. Fuck you too. Because it was like, I got to a point where it was like, it wasn't just the KDP, but like I have clients that use it, and they were saying, oh, you need to go to CreateSpace. And I'm like, okay, go to CreateSpace. Why? That's long defunct. That was like the initial KDP stuff.
Right.
And then we transferred everything over, and I hadn't worked with my client for a while, so I wasn't remembering everything. And it turned out hers had another KDP account, but the stupid associate who actually was a supervisor was saying, oh, well, you need to go to KDP, even though I was like, I don't think we're in KDP, but he kept insisting. we had to wait a week and a half because we both got busy. We had to take care of other things. And then finally, when I called them and they said, oh yeah, it's actually you have another KDP account. And I was like, really? So you guys wasted our time. And the banking information was identical in both accounts, but yet they held up months of her royalties. They said, oh yeah, They said, oh yeah, we need that, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, but we'll integrate it after the banking thing. So hopefully that got found, but it was just like stupid shit like that. And it's interesting because I think because of the supply chain, sometimes the vendors are a bit slow, some of them, to come back to the proof, because they came to me with a proof and I didn't approve one of them and they haven't gotten back to me for a little bit. So, but I mean, it was right before Memorial Day weekend, so I'm not going to go and get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of like annoyed about that. So it's just like this past week was annoying, full of that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yes.
I'll give my backers an update if it, in the next few days, if it hasn't changed.
All right. Cool. Mr. Sam Jimenez.
I think the biggest risk that we took that ended up paying off was when we did the first one, the first Kickstarter, because I think for us, like, that was kind of like, you know, let's do it. Like, we keep talking about making a comic and making comics, and, you know, we're, you know, trying to write, you know, and do all these things, and it's like, no, like, let's actually do it. Let's go for broke. And yeah, I think seeing it get like so close and thinking like, yeah, it's, you know, it might not actually do it, but at least we put it out there, and, you know, we're starting to do this, and then it got funded. That was like, I was over the moon for that. So yeah, I would say for us, that was like our biggest, from my perspective, that's the biggest risk we took, that paid off. One that hasn't paid off, for me, I'm not sure yet. I think like the posters, like Mickey was saying, like that was something that I think if we want to do it again in the future, like we're really gonna have to like think about that. T-shirts too, that might be, you know, something way down the line for us. Yeah, honestly, I think it's probably like shipping. When we got those, you know, when we were getting everything in, we kind of like divvied it up, and so it was like, okay, Mickey's gonna send out from most of the places across the country, but everybody that was in Texas, he shipped to me so that I could take care of it, and then that was sort of like just trying to find like the right pricing for all of that. And yeah, like he said, like we did end up kind of losing money on shipping, and so I think this time it's just sort of like, no, like we're gonna figure it out, and that way it just gets done, you know, kind of like in one sort of like fail swoop. But yeah.
Speaking to shipping, what vendor are you using for your postage calculations?
I use stamps because I don't really use a vendor. I use stamps and do it myself because that's what my background is. I also worked in film distribution, and so I just know my way around that.
Yeah, I use stamps myself. That's what I was getting to. So I make sure, because you can leverage that really well, especially for international.
Actually, also pretty good one is Pirate Ship too.
Pirate Ship, yeah.
I work at a bookstore, and so the first one I worked at, that was we used stamps, and we used it for the first issue, and now I'm working at another one, and we're using Pirate Ship. So
Sam, we gotta talk, man. You're in a bookstore, man. I send you a box. I treat you real nice. You get some discount in bulk. We get you some promo material, some cool stuff. You put it there. You double your money. Talk to me, man. Talk to me later.
All right.
Sounds like a risk that's gonna pay off to me.
You can be store number 46.
Nice.
There you
go. What do you got, sir?
I have no shame. I put every book, every shop I can, guys.
I'll say I have actually a list of. Do you know who Marvin? Have you ever met Marvin Wynn?
Have I met whom?
Marvin Wynn.
Oh yeah.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, well,
Marvin's been around for a while. He's been around for about 10 years,
and he's been selling to individual, comic shops himself. He has a list of about 170 stores that he personally has sold to, and he has no issue like sharing that list. It's
Cool.
yeah, it's a spreadsheet. So you just check it out. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
about.
I'm gonna have to go find Marvin then.
The
I'll
got
let
a
him.
right now.
Yeah, he's cool people, man. Really
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Jason, sir, your turn.
So both the so what is it? It's you take a risk and what paid off and what didn't pay off. Mine is actually the same thing. So my first Kickstarter, I was sorely uneducated on how it worked and everything. So I did a Kickstarter. It was stressed the whole time, and at the very tail end of it, we just made goal. So that was cool. But then I realized, oh, I didn't figure the shipping correctly, and oh, I didn't think of the minimum print order for each of these covers, and there's like a whole, and so I actually lost money on that, and so I was like, oh, I'll never do one of these again. It was too stressful. I hated it the whole time, and then a little bit further down the line, maybe I don't know, maybe 10 years, I'm not sure, but I saw more and more people doing them and being successful, and so I started kind of picking their brains, kind of looking what they're doing, how they're doing it, and I decided, okay, we're gonna try another one. I'm gonna go for it. This is here. I'm gonna try it one more time. Try using the things I learned from the last one that killed me. I'm gonna make sure I get it correct this time, and let's go for it. And that one was very successful, and so now I've just been doing them ever since, and they've all been really good. So I guess Kickstarter was both ways for me. It was my worst and best. So.
All right, cool. Well, all right. Well, I'll go way back when I was about 19 years old. It was a long time ago, 92. I published my first independent comic book, and at that time we printed, and it was myself and a group of us. It was an anthology called Revelations, and between we scrounged together the cash between the group of us, and we printed 5,000 books. Now, mind you, we weren't shipping them. There was no Kickstarter. We weren't shipping them through Diamond. There was nothing like that. We just printed these books and we sold them. And we went out there and we hand sold the hell out of those books. And that was both a risk and a big reward because we sold all of them. I don't have any copies that I have a small handful that I kept for myself, but we did well on that. And then for the one that I hate to say it didn't pay off, but but it did in its own way, is this guy right here. My in action figure. We printed a bunch of these. We had
cool.
Manufactured. We had about 1,200 of these made. It's fantastic figure. If I had a nickel for every time someone told me that looks awesome, I would recoup my costs on this mother flower right here. But Daphne and I, what we started doing is we paired this guy up with what we were doing for a while. We were pairing him up with an omnibus that we would sell, and the omnibus had a high price point. It was like $45 or $40, and this guy together bundled, it made us back a bunch of our money. So we're still, I don't think I'll ever recoup completely my cost of this, but I'll probably recoup about 80%. And let me tell you, the cost on this guy probably about what you'd spend on a car today. Brand new, and not a cheap one either. So yeah, if you want to do, it's easier to do now because now you can have them digitally printed and that sort of thing. So it's a little bit easier. But I did this back in 2008, and what happened was I spoke to my distributor, and he said, "Dude, if I had these a year before, I would have sold out completely." He said the market has changed, and then 2 weeks after I received these, the economy collapsed. So
Wow.
Wow. So sometimes it just doesn't happen. But he does look great. And I honestly don't regret doing it. I mean, it's long paid off. I don't really care. Sometimes you lose some, So yeah, there you go. All right, Mr. Well, you already asked the last question, so let's pull up some campaigns.
Well, can I answer my own question?
No, go ahead.
The biggest risk that did not actually, let me go with a happy story. The biggest risk that paid off, I would think, would be actually starting the radio show, because that was my in to get my own book published, and I actually did get my book published. So good job me spending that money 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago.
Nice.
The bad part is that the biggest risk that I took that did not pay off, through a unique set of circumstances, I managed to get a full-page ad in Wizard Magazine, issue number 500. And that got me nothing.
Oh, no.
That amount of money I spent, I got no kind of return from that in any way, shape, or form. It was the worst money I ever spent, like out of pocket, loss. And I'm like, it's issue 500. This is going to be great. Everybody's going to do it. No. And remember, Wizard didn't last much longer after issue 500.
Yeah.
So they were already on the way down, and I did not realize that at the time.
Which was a shame, really.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how much was that ad?
If I remember correctly, I'm going to say it was $5,000.
Oh.
Ooh.
And that's back then prices.
Right.
Damn, that hurts my soul.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
That sucks.
Like I said, I didn't get a penny return on that at all.
Wow. Were you dealing with Brent? I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, you did deal with Brent. Okay. Yeah.
Holy crap. I didn't remember name, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, that was the guy.
Brent's mad cool. It's funny. We would see him out in San Diego, and he was the rep for Wizard. And he'd be like, yo, you want to come to breakfast? And he was at, the hotel that's right next door to the convention center, the really nice one.
Oh, yeah.
He was there, and he was like, yeah, just meet us there. And I would go in, and I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. And he was like, order whatever you want, no problem. It's all our Wizard. He said, are you interested in buying an ad? And I was like, sure. He was like, okay, don't worry about it. Boom. That was it. He did his part. So, Brent was
Suddenly it's a business meeting, tax write-off time. You gotta love that.
Exactly, yes. I don't know if you guys know this. He owns a comic book shop. He owns a couple of them down in Texas.
Damn.
Nice. Yeah. That's for you. Sam. You might want to get in touch with him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam's getting all kinds of business connections.
I'm
writing it down now. Yeah.
I'll tell you too, guys. If you have some items in bulk, there's some really great new shops that are out. Cosmic Cape Comics, for example, the gentleman who owns that has been a joy to work with, and they've treated us really well. We have a really good relationship. The Box down in Leesville, Louisiana, owned by Keith Hewen. They've been a great customer, and we've been doing really good business down there. And of course, the Collective in Altamonte Springs. The list goes on and on and on. Gotham Underground in New Jersey, fantastic stores. The really weird thing that most of them have in common is that they both really felt the sting when the pandemic hit and Diamond stopped shipping, and made just a ton of calls, like the 2 weeks following the announcement that they were going to suspend that, and we got into a lot of shops that way.
Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's really good. Mr. Jason, I got your campaign up.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What do
Shadowhunters
you
Bite Me is it's kind of it focuses on one of the main characters in our Shadowhunter series, Jenna the vampire, and it's sort of like an origins tale, but it's basically like an origins before it starts into the series. So you kind of see what she went through before she met up with the other monster girls. She's a vampire that refuses to drink blood. Actually, she's a half vampire, because once she drinks blood, then she's full vampire. So this is her whole tale of how she basically refuses to give into that part of her life and give up what's little of humanity she has inside of her, and so that's kind of the story where it is.
So when you came up with this idea, did you already have it when you did the other series, or was this something that came out of because her character was popular?
Yeah, no. My mind's so it takes forever to create a comic book. You come up with the initial storyline for like Shadowhunters, the series. I had the initial storyline and the characters. While the first issue's going, there's like a million storylines that are like springing into your head. So I'm writing everything down. So I've had this for like it's been sitting on here for like 12 years. It's just now I'm finally at a place where okay, we're gonna try doing these kind of origin one-shot tales, and since the comic book series is doing so well, maybe there's going to be a market for people that are interested in where they came from. And so far, it seems like it's being received really well. So
Nice.
this one's now talking about risks and stuff like that. This is the first campaign where we've had a large amount of variant covers. So we're going to see how that works. Usually we have maybe just a handful of variant covers. This one, I think we have like 12. So
Oh wow.
yeah. So this is kind of a see how this goes.
And I get
lot of
nervous.
them are really
I get
good.
nervous when I have 3. You know.
Yeah, it's so we try to do a little bit of different things. We have homages to like horror movie posters. We have a homage to the popular McFarlane cover from Spider-Man #1. We have some risque covers. We have some foil covers, kind of a little bit of everything. We threw in some blank covers this time because there seems to be people want to have the blank covers, and then there's also an add-on tier where me or Noel Serrato who's another artist in this book, will do a drawing, a sketch for you on the cover. So there's a little bit of everything on here.
Cool.
Yeah, we might have gotten a little bit more crazy with the variants, but so we'll see how it pays off. So far, it seems like it's going really well. So maybe it'll be another happy tale again with the with the risk. I'll be on the next show to tell you about it.
Janet Jackson has cover.
Oh, there you go.
Right, this is a we call these the Gallery of Blood. So every campaign, all the images from all the different covers and all the stretch rewards and perks, and they're all put together in sort of a art gallery book, so you can get that and have all the images all in one book.
Gotcha. Now, do you find that it is working as far as having all of the covers?
You mean with the gallery books like this?
I'm just talking about in general. Do you find the multiple covers are working for you?
Yes, so far, like there are a couple of covers that are more popular than others, but it seems like everyone's gravitating towards one or multiple covers. So, and of course, we've got the bundles where you can get all the covers if you want. Collect them all. Or here's Noel Serrato's Nocturnals his combo where you can get all just his covers, or all just my stuff, or all Summer's stuff. And then we have this tier where it's all the Bite Me comics, which are basically all the covers for the Shadowhunters Bite Me. That's the main book. And then we're also offering some of the books from the previous as like a second chance if you didn't get them. So in this Drain Me Dry bundle, you get all the Bite Me books, you get the old second chance books, you basically get everything. You get a bottle opener, you get a
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. You got a bottle opener?
Yeah. So the kind of the tagline for this one, which has worked out great, is Jenna, since she doesn't want to drink blood. The tagline is "Some vampires prefer beer," because she's always drinking beer instead of blood. So doing a bottle opener was kind of a great way to use that little tagline in there. But there's Wendy Sharon who does Luna. And Naughty Fairies, that's what she does. She does Naughty Fairies, and she does a bunch of different bottle openers. You can actually have her put images on bottle openers, and she'll ship them to you. She does, I think, also some other kind of materials, like pins or stickers and stuff. But the bottle openers I was very interested in, so she does bottle openers. She's got like 3 different styles of metal bottle openers. So if you're interested, I will send you guys a link to contact her.
Yeah, definitely.
So these are some Walking Dead original art pieces on Walking Dead number 163. So we're offering like they're one of a kind. There's 3 of them. So they're just kind of like these little add-on extras that you can add on to your pledges. And we had some old Shadowhunter number 4s that Noel did some pencil inks and coloring on the covers as well. So we added those in. Those are actually all the new images or new cover stuff that we just added this week. We're trying to every week add a couple of new little things that you can add on to the pledge to kind of keep the spark of energy alive in the campaign, because as at the beginning there's always a big boost, and at the end there's always a big boost, and we're trying to figure out what can we keep that middle desert part kind of vibrant. So and this is all the original artwork that we've got for some of the covers and stuff, and this is the stuff they're 11 by 17, so we were talking about how to ship the 11 by 17 artwork, and we have them in those top loaders.
Nice.
So yeah, and this is actually, let's see, we are a little over 1 week into the campaign now, so still got a little ways to go.
Yeah. So how are you finding the original art? Is it going well?
Some of the art, we put a whole bunch of different art pieces up there, and right away at the very beginning, I think the first thing that sold as soon as the campaign launched was a piece of artwork. So
yeah, mine too. I get that too.
Oh, you did? I think the collectors, they're ready to pounce on it. So I guess because it's a one of a kind, those that are collecting, they're ready to grab them up. So but yeah, there's a lot of interest, a lot of collectors out there that want the original artwork, so that's why we have it up there.
Cool. Do you want me to play the video?
Sure.
All right. You don't have any crazy music on it, do you?
Sure.
Maybe copyright struck.
I don't know. It's short.
Vampires created the clans.
Order! Order! I call for order! Jenna, you stand here today before the Great Council for your act of defying our sacred laws of freedom.
No vampire would dare defy the clans of the High Council.
You will submit to feeding by force if necessary. This is the Council's final decree.
But I'm not really what you would call a traditional vampire.
You can't stand against the council. They won't allow you to break our laws.
What the hell do you think they'll do to me?
Okay, fine. So you want to drink blood? What kind of life can you have as a half-clan?
The choice is easy. I'll drink beer.
He is too powerful to allow her not to become one of us.
What? Do you really want her to become full blood and be even more powerful?
No. I want her dead. What is happening?
This halfling girl is going to tear our entire council apart. Go!
All right, cool.
Music gets loud down there.
So, who did the voice acting? And if you don't mind me asking, how much did that run you?
There's like about I think 7 or 8 different people that I contact. I always really have a lot of fun with the voice acting videos. So now I have a list. Oh, so in the older days, I used to do my comic books and I would collect them into a trade, and then I would create a soundtrack to the trades. And in between every couple of songs, I would have voice actors act out parts of the comic book. So I have a list of people that I contact whenever I do these videos. I'm like, hey, you want to do this line and do these parts? So
That's cool.
yeah, there's a whole mess of them. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
No, it looks like you're doing great. I mean, you're just a few bucks short of 10,000. What is your secret hidden wish fulfillment goal?
Well, last time on the last campaign we did 1,400 or 14 grand. So I'm hoping to at least match that because it means that we're,
So 20 it is.
20 it is.
His real secret goal is $1 million.
Well, that's
$1
everybody.
billion.
That's everybody's goal, yeah.
Get out of my head, JD.
The terror of that is trying to do fulfillment. It's like,
Right, yeah.
I gotta ship 100,000 books. Lord
Yeah.
knows.
Oh, you know what? That's the funniest part, right? When you gotta ship, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, you got so many orders.
Yeah.
But don't they have
more?
don't they have like fulfillment companies that do it? Like if you make a certain amount.
Yeah, but the cost on that is really gonna bite into your margins.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I heard
Just
this
hire
from
the kids from down the street.
No, I know the kids down my street. No. They're 7 and 8. They play with my daughter, so no, I'm not having little bubblegum fingers all over the comics.
That's an exclusive. A mail-in exclusive is bubblegum.
Bubblegum
For
fingerprint.
Demon Bitch, that would be lovely.
Well, there's a whole herd of kids around here, Christy. If you want them to fulfill
There you go. Well, Chrissy, it'll only be special if you chew each piece yourself.
Well, I said I would deface the book, so why not?
Why not? All right. So, Mickey and Sam, you guys are up. What do you have with Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah.
What do we have?
Yeah, so this is Quetzalcoatl. Like we said earlier, we funded the first issue back in 2019. We were all ready to go. The pandemic hit, but then we were still able, after a couple of mistrials and all that, we were still able to get everybody their stuff, their shirts, their posters, and the first issue. So this time we decided to just, go for broke. And this is what we're funding. We're funding the first 5 issues. That's the first story arc in Edminia's story, where she is confronted with some interesting heritage from her family that she did not know. And that heritage involves the Mesoamerican god Quetzalcoatl.
So I'm gonna just start rolling through some of this. So who's the artist?
The artist is Anna Marie Richardson.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said before, we found her. So she was posting a lot of her work on Instagram, and we thought it would be important to get a female Latina
Mm-hmm.
To draw this and to kind of like give a perspective that we didn't have, and we ended up running a lot of stuff by her. So we ended up having it be sort of like, oh, we already had the story sort of written, and then we would send her stuff and we'd be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? A lot of the story comes from our backgrounds and our culture, but also like we name characters after like our grandmothers, and we take personalities from different people.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we're a little too close to it, so we give it to Anna and we're like, does this even make sense?
Right.
And she's been really great about it. She's been really great about like sort of breathing life through her art, and also sort of almost like making things clearer, just clarifying our intentions, because we could be sort of rambly about all these stories.
All right, cool. Now, do you have multiple covers, or you just are you doing that sort of thing?
Well, yeah. So we have so this is for the whole volume containing the first 5 issues.
Okay.
And so those what you just see, those are the covers to the 5 issues.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna pick one of those covers to be the cover to the volume. I really like cover 2. The last cover is really cool too.
Which one? This one?
The one next.
Oh,
the next one.
This
Yeah, I
one?
like that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Gotcha. I like that first image.
Yeah.
I really like this one. I like
Yeah.
this.
And like all the covers are sort of references to other things, either other comic book covers or other like movie posters. The third one is a reference to Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, and they're kind of in the same pose of Frankenstein versus the Wolfman.
Oh yeah.
just kind of stuff like that. One of them is a reference to like Death in the Family.
Yeah, the 4th issue cover is supposed to be the Death in the Family one.
Gotcha. That's this one, right? No, that's issue 3.
Yeah, that's 4.
Nice.
Just stuff like that. So we let her have a lot of fun with it, and like bring her own like history and like tastes to it. and the whole first issue is already completed. It's in some stores, and then like Sam said, it was sort of it sort of got put in a weird position coming right at the pandemic, and so like we had publishers that went out of business, and we had so many things lined up for it that didn't really work out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and so that's why we decided to go for the volume, because with the volume we can put it in bookstores, we can put it in libraries, we can put it in, like, we have so many more options for this.
Right.
You look so different, Sam.
I know this is like my pandemic era.
Yeah, pre-COVID, post-COVID. That's before and after right there.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this. It's not been easy.
Life is not easy. Nice.
So yeah, rewards. Our first reward, sticker pack. Our second reward is the stickers in the poster. Then we have the whole digital volume. It contains everything. Exclusive buttons. Anna Marie Richardson goes to a bunch of conventions, and she has her own. She makes her own pins. She makes her own buttons, and she prints her own art and stuff. So that will be really easy to get our hands on.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that is our most. The physical copy is our most pledged tier. Yeah, people really want to hold things in their hand.
Yeah,
Nice.
Which is nice.
Do you find that has changed over time? That people still want the physical item as opposed to everything's being digital?
No, I think people really want the physical item. Yeah, the people have always been really into actually flipping through pages, which is nice. It's a lot more than I expected. I expected people to go straight to the digital one nowadays, but no, I guess not. We have a retail tier for stores, so we can get them. We can get them $5. I have a few stores that have done this. Usually, so I went to a Latino comic expo, and some stores were there, and I talked to them, and they mentioned retail tiers, and they mentioned like usually what they do. They show me some examples. And so I just kind of based it off that.
Gotcha.
So that's been fun. Get some stores involved in this, like before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a digital sketch, which is essentially Anna will draw you as a character in the comic, which is nice because she has a very distinct. The comics has a very distinct art style and a very distinct like way that the characters move and interact and stuff.
Nice.
That's fun. And then we can be in the story. So she'll take that card, that character she drew in the digital card, and we'll put it in the comic with dialogue and stuff.
How many of these did you open up to the public?
I actually haven't. We didn't set a limit on them.
Oh, okay. So
we
500 people adding.
No, we have spots that we know that this can happen. I think there are like 25 of them from what Anna was talking about, but yeah.
Gotcha.
And the producer is just to have your name as a producer on the comic, and it's just for people who want to donate extra.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah.
Your pie chart. Okay, cool. You want me to play the video?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Hi, thank you so much for coming to the Kickstarter page for Quetzalcoatl Volume 1. Quetzalcoatl is a Latina comic who follows a young woman named Herminia who discovers secrets of her ancestry and how they relate to a giant feather serpent. It was important for Herminia to be relatable to people in our culture, and even though her problems may be otherworldly, they still can draw a parallel to our own lives. In the first issue, we saw Herminia confront death, deal with family issues, identity issues, isolation, and now we get to see the rest of her story unfold. We've got tons of rewards, so make sure to check those out below. Everything from stickers, physical and digital copies of the entire volume, pins, and get this, you can even be in the comic. Yeah, with dialogue and everything. This comic is emotional and so very topical. We have a beautiful story to tell, and we just need your help to tell it. So whether you donate or share, any little bit helps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us right here on Kickstarter. See you in comic book stores soon.
All right, nice.
Would that happen to be Amy?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the future of the comic, we kind of made this to keep going, so it has an engine to it similar to a television show. So we looked at it kind of like that, and the engine is essentially we get different myths, and we put them through the engine to come out the other side as like modernized stories that we can explore. We can either retell them, or we can create almost like a sequel to it. So like there's so many myths and like Mexican culture, Latin American culture. There's sort of creation myths, there's gods and goddesses, but there's also little things like two star-crossed lovers who die next to each other and they grow into mountains. And then like you use that to explain land masses and stuff. So stuff like that we want to explore in different stories.
Nice. So it's cool. So you have 15 days left. You're at 71%. You're about 7,100. Yeah. So you guys will make it. I don't see you guys having a problem. I mean, you just have to keep pushing it.
This is like only our second Kickstarter, so I don't know how that bump at the end goes.
Right. Oh yeah, you'll see a huge bump, but like I said, you want to, just keep pushing it. You'll make it. I don't think you'll have a problem making it, because the product looks good, the artwork looks good. You can do a nice little hardcover that looks really nice. So yeah, I think you're heading in the right direction.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it looks good. Cool. So we have. Oh, hold on. Okay. Well, Amy's here, and she says, "Woo."
Yeah, we the last one we did the video, and it was good, but like we're all sort of not comfortable in front of the camera, and so I was like, oh, maybe we should get like a host. Like someone who's comfortable, and then Amy's my wife, and so I was like, "Wait, no, you're a host. You do that for a living. And you're an actress, and so like, can you do it? We'll tell you what to say."
Good job, Amy.
Yes, great job, Amy.
Very convincing. That's why I brought it up. I was like, wow, this is really professionally done, and she had that inflection that's like a professional actress, and she's really excited about it. And the way, which is funny because you did say that you didn't think the physical copy would sell as much as digital. But in the video, she emphasizes the digital and physical. I thought that was interesting how it flipped. And I'm sure that the next one, she would emphasize the physical over the digital.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Nice. Very, very great. It looks awesome. I would encourage everybody. I don't know how Jason feels about it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Update swaps. That always helps.
Yeah, we do that.
I'm always down for that.
Rebel.
All right. So,
Oh, wow.
the other Sam.
Yep, Reign of Ages, our IGG exclusive cover for issue 1. We actually just launched this a little bit faster than we expected yesterday. Basically with no announcement, and just put it out and announced it on CromCon. We are just bringing stuff to Indiegogo gradually, as well as our Kickstarter presence. And this is kind of in the vein of what we see a lot on Indiegogo, something that's exclusive for the cover value. And this is, of course, Nick Capone's homage to that classic, image we have with Wolverine, with the image of the Hulk in the blades. Only it's Reign in the image of the Medusa that she's fighting in issue 1. And of course, the book is done. We had fulfilled this from Kickstarter earlier this year. We're actually almost sold out already of the press runs that we did for that. And so this is our unique take on it. We kept it simple with just 2 perk tiers, and they do include shipping in the United States.
Nice.
So one thing too is that we took with the Kickstarter, we had a stretch goal at $7,000 that we were just under when we finished. So we went ahead and honored that stretch goal anyway, because we knew that we were going to do an IGG later this year. And I think we're only like $200 away from it. So we just figured we'd roll all the stretch goals into both campaigns and make them count. And so everyone on the Kickstarter got stretch goals up to the 7K value, and the IGG perks include those as well.
What's the biggest difference you found between working with Kickstarter and Indiegogo?
Not a whole lot. The interface for IGG takes a little bit of getting used to for me because I'm so used to Kickstarter. I do like the fact that you can attach images to your perks, which I really wish Kickstarter would do. The in-demand store I like. We're not going to do it with this particular title since it's a limited production run. But for stuff that isn't limited, some stuff that we're printing en masse, like 2,000, 3,000 copies or something, we'll go ahead and leave the in-demand up for a few months to help hopefully grow our IGG audience. This is actually only my second time on Indiegogo, but it's pretty interesting. We had the 3 people who picked us up right off were guys who backed the last campaign, so it's good to see people turn around and come out with no lead, no announcement, no nothing. It's good to see folks follow up on it. We are in the flexible funding, and this was kind of nice because we know we were going to fulfill this even if we only had 1 backer. So whether we have 1 backer or 1,000 backers, these will ship in July.
Oh, nice.
So we did for that a little, because with Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, you should have something unique between the two. And so in between the Kickstarter conclusion and this, we did come up with some neat pen designs.
Hold on, I'm gonna put you on the screen. Hold on.
And so these are included in both of the perk tiers. If my camera was
a little back, pull it back.
Yeah, we can get there.
Almost.
There
it is.
All right. So these are 2 1/4 inch buttons on there that we added on to those perk tiers as well. And my daughter actually wears them to school every day, which is fun.
You use your daughter as a marketing tool.
She thought they were pretty, so she wanted them on there. She actually has, I think, 14 different posters from Sinopa projects in her room right now. A lot of RPG stuff with fairies and elves and unicorns and stuff like that. And we actually donated posters to her kindergarten and then to her elementary school when they went there. So when you walk into my daughter's elementary school, and they've got in the first grade wing, they've got Sinopa posters up with elves and unicorns and fantasy stuff that we donated to them. So it's kind of nice. She's really comfortable there.
So I have to ask, what is the line of regular violence and graphic violence?
Well, regular violence is like my idea of regular violence, like day-to-day stuff, walk outside, punching numbskull in the face. Graphic violence on this, we have a lot of decapitations, eviscerations, bisecting of torsos. It's kind of along the same line of violence we see in 47 Furious Tales, which is one reason we actually aren't in like grocery stores and stuff like that, because the violence level is dialed up too high. We kind of have to dial that down to like an all ages group if we're going to get there, which came out with the discussion with the Kroger folks. They weren't really comfortable with that. So, what have you. But graphic violence, basically in my head, is the difference between the severance of limbs and bisection of the torsos, whereas your typical violence is your superhero punch, slam, smash kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
And that's just my personal definition. So
I would go rated R as opposed to PG-13.
This one is probably, I don't know if we could actually rate this as rated R. There is a topless monster in this that kind of keeps us on the high shelves anyway with this title. But it's yeah, I mean, you can call it rated R if you want. It just kind of depends on what your sensitivity is to violence.
Okay.
How comfortable are you with zombies being decapitated?
Woohoo!
Exactly.
And there isn't a digital tier for this because the digital is available through our presence on Drive-Thru Comics and Drive-Thru RPG. And what we did for that was the first time we've done this. We took, and since the Kickstarter had actually met all of our stretch goals for all the additional digital content, we rolled that into the publicly available product. And so it's actually Reign of Ages. I think it's labeled like Reign of Ages Campaign Fulfillment Digital Tier or something like that on there. And so you literally get the same digital rewards the Kickstarter folks got. So it's a lot of fun with that. And then Excuse me, sorry about that. We've made an add-on available for folks who were at the first tier, so they can get issue 3, because our previous Indiegogo was issues 1 and 2 for 47 Furious Tales, and then our second tier is basically everything. You get print copies of 1 through 3, everything from the first $25 tier, which is the art prints, the postcard, all that kind of stuff, and then we going to pack those and ship those in July once they come back from the printer.
All right, cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's awesome.
Yep. I mean, JD, you've read 47, and I think you've read Rain too. What did you think?
Actually, I haven't.
You haven't read Rain yet? Oh no.
I haven't read either one of them yet, because I ordered from the last campaign. I'm still waiting for my shipment.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, because you're waiting for the print copies like I am. I got you.
Yes.
They should ship this week.
I like how you say that. You're waiting for the copy to read that I made, but I'm still waiting for it to come in so I can send it to you.
Right, yeah. I'm waiting for them from the printer, because we did that update 2 days ago, I think, about that, because we were supposed to have them last week, and like, oh, it's actually going to be next week. I'm like, oh, God.
Hey, listen, you're fine. I've waited for campaigns as long as 5 years.
Not for me, you won't.
No, not for you. Not for you, but there are others. There's many others.
We have another campaign, a Kickstarter campaign we'll be launching hopefully this week once our approval comes through, and that's from Necroholic. That book's done. We have proofs coming with the shipment for 47, so we're going to be able to show those off in the video and everything. Anyone want to see the cool comic about the alcoholic necromancer?
You have.
I would like to.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, let me go ahead and grab a preview for you then. Because we're, like I said, we're still waiting on approval. So, but this, I'll post that in there too, guys. I've got a couple of things I'm going to tweak on the campaign before launch, but this is basically it. So if you want to pull that up, JD, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
So as he's pulling that up, Mickey, I thought your background was a virtual background, and I was going to say it's so cool that it's like half black and half light, and it goes well with the shirt. But then I saw the cat moving in the background. I was like, well, that's a really cool background. Then you put the cat in your hand. I was like, wait a minute, it's a real background.
And Jason, I'll get you that digital link, Jason, so that you can see what I'm talking about.
You sent me another link for Reign of Ages.
Thanks, man.
Did I send you another link for Rain? Okay, hold on a second. Let me try it one more time. Because I guess my copy and paste isn't copying and pasting. Hold on a second. Copy. I guess old age kicked me in the head on that one. That should be the Kickstarter link this time. Sorry about that, guys.
All right, there it is. Let me pull it up. Go ahead, Mr. Torres, talk, because you know.
Oh, all right. Geez, I don't have a story ready. I'm out of stories.
This one time at band camp.
I was just watching a new movie with Marina Sirtis in it, and she played a psychiatrist, and it had a very twisty end to it, and it was called oh crap.
You can stop talking about that now. So here we go. Necroholic.
I wasn't ready.
Yep.
Oh, here's something interesting. Why are you choosing to do 21 days instead of 30?
We have the book is done. We're going to be ordering books like literally the last day of the campaign. Our turnaround time from our printer is about 12 days right now, unless they do the same thing that they did for 47, in which case it'd be like 18. Either way, we can go ahead and get that done, and get that fulfilled in July. Right about the time we're ready to launch Reign of Ages issue 2. We were originally going to launch this at the beginning of May, but as some of you know, I was really, really sick April and the first 2 weeks of May. So we pushed it back. We got the covers by the artist creator Brian Lee on the left, and our variant cover by Kendall Gates on the right. We blow those up further on down. And of course, everything is priced to be, in an affordable range for all of our backers. And we haven't added our retailer tiers yet, because we've got some things that we've been working on with our retailers where we customize specific tiers to specific retailers. And the idea is that if someone sees their local comic shop there, then they know they can just order it from the comic shop rather than having to pledge to the campaign.
Wow, that's cool.
So, and that's worked pretty well. We did that with 47 Furious Tales issue 3 and Reign of Ages, and that was a really big boon for our supporting stores.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So she's a drunk necromancer.
Yes, and her very first page, she wakes up in a graveyard and the graves are emptied, and that's a problem when you're blackout drunk and setting zombies loose on the world. People don't like that. So this is scheduled for 24 issues running, and we are going to be publishing this probably every 4 months. The reason being, Brian is dealing with some issues with his drawing hand, and so as he works on his physical therapy and treatments and everything, we may be able to accelerate that pace. But right now, we don't want to push anything where it'll aggravate his injury.
Right.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Did a fantastic job. Myself and James Lee edited this book, and then we're publishing this under my company, Snopa Publishing. It's the first thing I published that I myself didn't actually write. So it's one of those things where you want to make sure all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and we're working on that. But we did also take a page from the book of some of you guys have used. We're putting, instead of characters into the book, we're putting names on tombstones. So we have some blank tombstones in the book that we're going to be adding backers' names to at a particular tier. So they
Damn, why didn't I think of that?
That's a great idea.
Get their actual name on it.
Did you get to put the date in also, or just the name?
Yeah, we'll get the whole detail thing on that. So make sure it's all plugged in. When did you die? When were you born? I'm thinking about saving one for me, putting my death date before my my birth date, and just say Sam Quinton, time traveler, born 1970, died 1853.
Nice.
That's probably what's going to be on my actual tombstone, to tell you the truth, just to screw with people in the future. Jason, thank you, man.
That's really cool.
And
when are you planning on launching this?
We should launch it this week once we get approval from Kickstarter.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let me know. Obviously, like I said, you're always welcome.
Cool. Outstanding.
No, that was really, really nice.
Yeah, we're really excited about that.
I'm totally backing that when you launch it. I love it.
Now, we've got another project where next year we should have 5 comics in total in production next year, on top of the RPG lines and everything. But one of the ones I'm working on right now is tentatively titled our Time Traveling Psychedelic Mushroom comic. That one is not suitable for work because there's a lot of nudity in that one. But keep your mind and your eyes open for that one, because we're going to send you on a real trip with that. I can't wait to actually start showing art for that. I think you guys are going to flip.
Nice. Hold on. We have Amy says, thank you all. You're all so sweet. And she says, I love how the art styles are so different. Congratulations to you all. Thank you. All right. Well, it's funny. I was listening to Larry's show last night, Niobe, and I didn't chime in or anything because I was in the process of packaging up my latest campaign and putting it out. And I just want to show these real quick. So I'm gonna put myself up on the screen. And this is from my comic, The Oswald Chronicles. These are my sample proofs from the printer for my next campaign. So this is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is coming out in the future, and we have.
I backed the Oswald Chronicles last campaign too.
Oh, thank you. Well, you'll be getting it soon. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the art style that you used for this. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, this one's a little different. This is another artist I'm working with. His name is Aurelio Tillis. So his style is a little bit more anime.
That's cool.
It looks like a traditional manga. It's just like crazy. Like, he has Oswald with all these weird looking faces. Like he runs through the gamut of every emotion on the planet. I'm like, okay. This one is from a project I have called my 100 Artists Project. And this one's actually in color, which is, unusual for me. But I was like, I want to get the whole line up in color at some point.
So after all this time of going from black and white, Did the colors come out the way you thought it would have come out when you envisioned it, or was
No.
it something completely different?
It's always something different. I never get exactly what I want, but it's fantastic. I love it. And then Tall Tales, the 4th volume, that'll be coming out soon. I don't know. Daphne is in charge of this, so I leave it all to her. I don't even know when it's launching. She was like, she does it when she feels like it. I get to write the scripts. I get to drop them off. That's all I get to do.
Hey, if you guys don't mind, there's something I want to mention too. I mean, we talked a lot earlier about shipping and stuff like that. That's really important to new creators. And there's something I want to mention to any new creators out there, because I have something here that, if I'm not mistaken, the cover was actually done by Christie. But this is something that I think every new creator who's going to use Indiegogo or Kickstarter should have. I had no part in this. It's just something that I have a lot of respect for, the creators who were involved. It was written by Madeline Holly Rossing. For anyone who doesn't know that name, shame on you, learn. But this is a Kickstarter for the independent creator. As like I said, I believe Christie was responsible for the cover illustration on that, or some of the interior illustrations. Isn't that right?
The cover.
If you are planning on doing a Kickstarter, even if you've done dozens before, if you haven't read this, get this book. It's available on Amazon, and go over it. It's a fantastic reference for the fundamentals of crowdfunding. It's a good thing to go back and check to make sure that you're covering your bases, regardless of how experienced you are. Madeline does a wonderful job in that book of providing actual information that is actionable, useful, and absolutely critical for people who want to be successful in their crowdfunding to undertake. I recommend it to everyone who asks me for any tips on crowdfunding campaigns, because it's everything you're going to want in the book on how to handle Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
Nice. Nice shout out. I like that. For my last question of the night, and this is something like I will not hold anyone to this, but here's a question. I'm part of a group, and there was a person in there, and what they do is it was the thing I just mentioned, where they do the cross promotion, where they do the update swaps, right? We've all done them, various times, but this person said they're having a hard time finding people to swap with, so I'm curious as to whether or not, if I was to start up a Facebook group, and that doesn't mean I will, I'm just talking about it. This is hypothetical. Would you guys be interested? Whereas a private group, just creators, because not everybody is part of that other group. That's it. You have to buy into that group. But if I just open something up where it's just anybody could join, would you guys be interested as individual creators to join a group where you could swap, these types of things with everybody? So, I'm just curious. So I'm just taking a general consensus. I think we're up to Sam.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not holding anybody. Like if I were to do it and nobody was to join up, it's okay. I'm not gonna hold anybody to this. All right, Christie, was that something that you'd be interested in?
Might be. I'd have to take a look at it and stuff. Mine are big books, so maybe like an art book or something.
Right. Well, no, I'm not talking about an ad inside the book. I'm talking about update swaps.
Update swaps. Oh, just back and forth in general.
Right.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, okay, because there's two types. You can either do an update swap. So, like, when you're running a campaign and you run somebody's book inside, like you do an update. And then
Okay. I've never heard of it that way. But yeah, I've done update swaps before.
Yeah.
Like where we just showcase their book, right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I haven't heard of it that. It's just more of like, can you feature it in an update?
Okay, cool. I think Sam, the other Sam, Jimenez.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea.
All right, cool. Mr. Jason.
Yeah, I'm always up for that. I didn't really know what those were until I started doing Kickstarter again, and had a bunch of people like messaging me, and I'm like, sure, why not? Cross promote, let's do it. More the merrier. So sure.
All right, cool. Mickey, I saw your thumbs up, so I figure you're in agreement with this.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah,
Right.
I'm having a hard time finding people willing to do it, but so this will be nice.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a funny thing, right? Where we have this big community of people, and we sometimes have a hard time finding each other and touching one another, not physically.
Now, I'll tell you too that myself and Max DeVille and Larry and Peter Vasquez and us, we've been doing something here lately where we've been adding just shouts out little ad spaces in the backs of the books. And then that's been I find pretty helpful. Another thing that I think has been helpful is as far as when we go to press is like little. This is actually a donated ad space for the school. We didn't charge them for that. Just things to help the artist community out there, help people find resources and stuff like that. So.
All right, cool. Nice. Mr. Mark, you got a final question so we can close this out?
Sure. Let's do a simple one. What is your biggest takeaway from a Kickstarter for new people out there? Somebody's just starting right now. Say, this is the one thing you need to know.
Make sure your shipping is high or covers your shipping.
Make sure when you do the Kickstarter, it's approved way ahead of schedule. Don't like they've taken about a week now to approve things.
Yeah.
Like make sure you do it like at least a month in advance, and then you can add or subtract. Just make sure you get it approved first.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Calendar your promotional appearances at least 6 weeks ahead of time, so that you make sure that you have your calendar lined out for the shows you're going to appear on. And don't just rely on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure that you're also remembering to reach out to the folks in your local television markets, your local radio shows and stuff like that, because they're usually starving for local civic engagement kind of interviews. And so definitely follow on with that. And don't forget to make your appearances at your local comic shops and libraries.
Cool.
Nice. Yes, Sam, you're on the ball, sir. Those are all things I completely ignore.
Well, here's the thing. You got to thank Madeline for that, because I didn't think about the whole TV thing until I read Madeline's book.
Oh, okay.
Basis is, I think, NTV kind of like she started off sort of like that.
Yeah, and it's a really good point. I mean, it's funny trying to get interviews on your local television stations at first. Right. But honestly, especially in the last 2 years where everything's full of bad news, getting some local good news is usually pretty welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned how much creators support other creators, which is not something I like coming from the work that I do. As it's like new, it's like a new thing to me.
You're used to the cutthroat. You're the cutthroat, right?
Yeah, as opposed to like when you're on Kickstarter and you're like, oh yeah, I bet my family will help, and then they don't. So it's mostly just other creators and other creatives.
That's because we're your real family. That's why.
I'll tell you another thing I found that's helped me a lot with Kickstarter the last year or so. I've been doing this. Is I've been producing for convention appearances and other public appearances. We produce little stuff that we hand out for folks. And so this is the one we did for 47 Furious Tales issue 3. And so it had just the image of the cover on it, and then a secondary take on that with the Kickstarter launch date on the back of it. And we would give those out to folks who were coming by booths and talking with us and such, so that they knew when our Kickstarter was.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And that was about 4 cents a piece. So get 1,000 of them, spend $40, and get some backers out of it.
Yep, there you go. Jason, you got any thoughts on it?
On Kickstarter?
Yeah. What's your one takeaway? One thing that everybody should know.
I screamed out. Just make sure you have your shipping costs high enough to cover your shipping costs.
Yeah, shipping and handling. Can't overestimate on that.
That's. And I think international's gone up a little bit more too.
100%.
Yeah. It has. Sam?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it again. The shipping costs.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. Well, for me is try if you're gonna do any stretch goals and it's a physical item, make sure you order them well in advance before you ship, because I'm waiting on a stretch goal item. And it's killing me because I'm already to throw these things in boxes and ship them out. you know, and I'm like, oh, it's just this one little thing, and I'm like, oh, why did I promise this? But it's a cool thing, so I want everybody to have it, so it's gonna be nice.
Yep.
We'll see what happens.
And you
know,
can't send it separately. You have to wait for all the stuff to come in one
That's
shot.
just
Yeah, you don't want to ship twice.
yeah.
Yeah, not especially not now. Oh, one more thing. Add in 10% for charges for
Oh
Kickstarter.
yeah, the Kickstarter fees.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
have fees. It's the processing fees and Kickstarter fees.
Mhm.
Yep.
They'll take about 10% out.
Oh, I have another take on this. Make sure you have your business plan for after the Kickstarter. Okay, is like my Kickstarter campaigns usually run between 5,000 and 7,000. Right? They're not huge by any stretch of the imagination. I make most of my revenue from sales subsequent to that. So like even for like 47 Furious Tales issue 3, we did I think 6,000 or whatever it was, 5,800 or I don't even know right now. But we got that done. But then the outside of Kickstarter orders were another 740 copies. So I mean it's a big difference. Make sure you have your plan. Make sure you have everything laid out for your actions, because you're going to want to make sure that you have the business side functioning at least as well as the creative side, and then work on improving both, because your business side manages your capital flow, makes it easier, especially like for me. Like I said, I can't draw, so I have to hire people, and being able to hire people, pay them well, and pay them according to contract on time, absolutely critical. So you have to have that money coming in. So make sure that your business plan is realistic, actionable, and that you're making money on it.
Wait, so you're telling me you don't pay them in exposure?
No, I pay everyone well.
Yeah. Well, on this website, I would happy just remove somebody.
Just ask Alexia Veldhausen to work for exposure, and I'm going to sit in the other county when that response comes up. I don't want to be in that blast radius.
No.
Love her to death, but you need to make sure. I mean, it's so important.
All right, cool. Nice. So, lady and gentlemen, we made it to the end. We're about at the 2-hour mark. So let's wrap it up. Mr. Sam, we'll start with you. Please, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Which Sam?
Oh, Sam.
Bottom Sam. You're at the bottom, Sam. You're first.
Me, gotcha. You can find me. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I also can't draw, but you want to hear any deranged thoughts I have about new media, or just see any of our Kickstarter updates, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
Nice. All right, cool. Jason, where can they find you and your work, sir?
If they want to find me, they can find me on most social media networks under Jason Dube Comic Guy or Scattered Comics. But check out the description below in this video for the campaign link. That's where I'd really like everyone to head over to and check out the comic books Shadowhunters Bite Me for 20 days left.
Nice. Mickey, what do you got? Where can they find you, sir?
If you want to read any of my pitches for stories at 5 a.m. when I wake up, you can go to Macabre Martinez on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And and then so if but where I really want you to go is the Kickstarter. Thanks, Jason. That was a good idea.
All right, cool. And they're in the show notes. I made sure to put them in there.
Bless you,
Right.
JD.
Nice.
Yes. Mr. Quinton, where can they find you?
All right. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Sunoco Publishing. He's my business identity. The real company in the real little space of the real little room in my real little apartment. And then also, of course, you can find me on Kickstarter under WS Quinton, and then the company account under Sunoco Publishing would be the RPG campaign for the company, and comics for my personal account. And then right now on Indiegogo, we're putting out Land of Ages, a very, very limited edition version variant. So take advantage of that. Again, those perks do include shipping in the United States.
All right, cool. Christie, where can they find you?
Linktree for Torres Studios. That's where it has all my para links, my website links, my art and print and book links that I deface, Patreon, and basically just a general portfolio, and you can get a hold of me. My Instagram and Twitter are linked there. I think it's the Horror Torres Studios one, but if you go on those two, you can actually jump to the other ones that I have.
All right, cool. Mr. Torres.
Oh, so before I say that, the movie was called 1,000 Little Cuts with Marina Sirtis. I couldn't. It was bothering me. I couldn't get that name. So let's see. So we are the official the Big Apple Con. So it's www.itcamefromradio.com. We are on a terrestrial radio station at 88.1 FM WARY Monday through Thursday nights in Westchester County, New York. So if you live there, you can hear us. If not, you can go to www.btdradio.com. That's Thursdays 4 p.m. Sci-fi.radio. That's every Wednesday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. IndieVolt.com on Fridays at 6 p.m. And we're also on over 40 different podcast places. So if you want to look for us, just Google The Came From Radio. You will find us.
All right, there you go. Nice.
Wow.
JD, you can find me here almost every Sunday. Go ahead. Sam, you got something to say?
Yeah, make sure, guys, you get your shout outs on the radio. It's a big deal. People are in their cars listening.
There you go. Exactly. And if you're gonna go on Mr. Torres's podcast, which is well worth to go on, or his radio show, I should say. You got to make sure you book in advance because that man is booked.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and also, I'll be here with Indy Comics Explained on apparently every Sunday that there's a holiday. So probably Father's Day, I'll be back next month.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll try to have you on before then. But you know what? It probably will be Father's Day.
I think you have that plan. I've noticed it. I'm like, it has to be a plan.
I promise you, it's coincidental, but it just worked out that way. So, but thank you for being here, everybody. Like I said, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, all these other places under JD Calderon. I'm usually here every other Sunday. Well, every Sunday, and sometimes some not Sundays. Like in a couple weeks, I won't be here because I'm just I got to take a trip. But
thank you for having us, man.
Thank you for being here. All you guys,
thanks for having us.
And please, everybody, go check out those campaigns. They're in the show notes, and go buy some books. Go buy some indie books. These guys' books, my books, everybody's books. Go check out some indie books because you know what? Marvel and DC, they don't need the money. We do.
And if you can't afford to buy the book, I always say make sure you share it, let people know about it, talk about it, spread the word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Night, everybody.